There is a fire that consumes not with flames, but with words. It starts quietly, almost invisible. A comment, a look, a tone, and before you know it, you are in the middle of a storm you never wanted to enter. Arguments. They arrive at your doorstep like uninvited guests, knocking louder and louder until you feel forced to open the door. They come disguised as chances to prove yourself, to defend your worth, to protect your pride. But in truth, they are traps. And the moment you step into them, you have already lost something greater than the argument itself. You have lost your peace. Think about it. How many times have you walked away from an argument, truly victorious? Not just louder, not just exhausted, not just replaying the conversation in your mind for hours after, but truly victorious, calm, whole, untouched? The answer, if you are honest, rarely ever. Because arguments are not designed to create peace, they are designed to steal it. The trap begins with ego. Your ego whispers, "Don't let them win. Don't let them think they are right. Don't let them disrespect you." And so you react. You defend. You raise your voice. You lace your words with sharpness. You pour your energy into proving a point that will never be received the way you want. Because the person on the other side isn't listening. They are only waiting. Waiting for their chance to throw back words heavier than yours, to stand taller in their pride, to cover their insecurity by lowering you, and so the cycle begins. One word cuts, another bleeds. One tone sharpens, another shouts, until what started as a moment becomes a battlefield, and what started as a spark becomes a wildfire burning away your peace. You must understand this truth. Most arguments are not about truth at all. They are about dominance, about distraction, about validation. People argue not because they seek clarity, but because they seek control. They want to prove they matter, even if the cost is your calm. But here is the wisdom. Not every battle deserves your sword. Not every challenge deserves your presence. Not every voice that calls you deserves your reply. Silence is not weakness. Walking away is not defeat. Sometimes, refusing to argue is the loudest declaration of strength you can ever make. Let me ask you, when was the last time you regretted staying silent? Compare that to the times you regretted speaking too much, saying what you did not mean, letting anger carry you where peace was meant to stay. Silence rarely haunts you. But words spoken in the heat of argument, they echo, they replay, they bruise. Imagine this. Someone throws you a rope soaked in fire. You can choose to grab it, to burn with them, to suffer the same wounds. Or you can choose to let it drop, untouched, while you walk away with your hands unscarred. That rope is the argument. That choice is always yours. The trap is not the argument itself. The trap is believing you must respond. The trap is thinking that silence is surrender, when in truth, silence is mastery. Because real power does not shout. Real power does not beg to be right. Real power does not lower itself to chaos in order to prove control. Real power stays still while the storm rages around it. They will tell you that silence makes you weak, that walking away means you've lost. But what have you really lost? You've lost nothing but noise, nothing but stress, nothing but the burden that was never yours to carry. And what have you gained? You have gained clarity. You have gained stillness. You have gained your peace, the most sacred treasure you own. So here is the truth you must carry. Every argument you refuse to enter is energy you save for your healing, your growth, your dreams. Every word you do not throw is strength you keep within yourself. Every storm you do not join is peace you protect like gold. Do not waste your life proving yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Do not waste your breath explaining to ears that only hear their own echo. Do not waste your sacred energy on arguments you can never win. Because the moment you refuse the bait, you rise. The moment you step out of the battlefield, you grow. The moment you choose peace over pride, you win the war they never wanted you to win. So pause, breathe, let them speak, let them shout, let them try to provoke. But you stay still, you stay grounded, you stay untouchable. Remember this, victory is not always in the reply. Sometimes the greatest victory is in your silence. Sometimes the greatest strength is walking away with your soul unbroken and your peace intact. Do not waste energy on arguments you can never win, for your peace is too precious, your time too sacred, your soul too vast to be dragged into battles that lead nowhere. And when you choose silence, when you choose restraint, when you choose clarity over chaos, you have not lost. You have won everything that truly matters. There is a hunger that lives quietly inside every human being. It does not ask for food. It does not thirst for water. It thirsts for validation. It craves recognition. It longs to be seen, to be heard, to be declared right. This hunger has a name. It is called the ego. Ego is the restless part of us that cannot accept being overlooked, cannot endure being misunderstood, cannot survive without proving its existence. And so whenever a conflict arises, ego stands up and shouts, "Defend yourself, prove yourself, win this battle no matter the cost." Why do we argue? Not always because we care about truth, not always because we want resolution. More often, we argue because our ego cannot stand to lose. The sting of being dismissed, the ache of being wrong, the insult of being questioned, these wounds cut not the soul, but the ego. Think about the last time someone disrespected you. What lingered longer? The insult itself, or the burning thought, "How sorry dare they say that to me?" That pain was not wisdom. It was pride. That burning was not truth. It was ego, demanding to be fed. And so you reacted. You spoke louder. You sharpened your tone. You threw words like weapons, hoping they would prove your worth. But what did you really win? Did the other person suddenly see your truth? Did they suddenly fall silent, humbled by your logic? Or did they fight harder, shout louder, and leave you more exhausted than before? That is the trap. Ego convinces you that fighting equals winning, but every battle only feeds the hunger. Ego is like fire. The more wood you throw into it, the more it demands. It does not seek peace. It does not seek truth. It seeks fuel. And arguments give it exactly that. Every time you defend yourself to someone who never intended to understand you, ego feels strong. Every time you replay the words in your head for hours after the conversation ends, ego feels alive. Every time you waste your night justifying what you should not have to justify, ego laughs, because it has stolen your peace and left you empty. But ask yourself honestly, who really wins in such battles? Do you walk away free, calm, and whole? Or do you walk away drained, restless, and broken inside? Isn't it strange that the louder you argue, the weaker you feel? Isn't it strange that the more you try to prove yourself, the less certain you become? That is the nature of ego. It does not build you, it drains you. True strength is not found in proving others wrong. True strength is found in not needing to prove anything at all. The lion does not respond to barking dogs. The mountain does not argue with the storm. The river does not stop to explain its flow. They simply are. They move. They stand. They exist in their power without permission and without explanation. That is the lesson ego does not want you to learn. Because once you master silence, once you master detachment, ego loses its control over you. And when ego loses, peace wins. Pause and think for a moment. How many arguments in your life were truly necessary? How many conflicts left you with wisdom, clarity, and healing? And how many left you only with anger, fatigue, and regret? The truth is clear. Most arguments were never about truth. They were about ego's hunger. The ego tells you, if you don't fight back, they will think you are weak. But wisdom replies, if you don't fight back, you prove you are free. Free from their noise. Free from their control. Free from the endless cycle of defending, explaining, and justifying. Because here is the paradox. The more you argue, the smaller you become. The more you defend, the less secure you appear. But the one who remains calm, the one who chooses silence, the one who refuses to feed the hunger, that person stands taller, stronger, unshakable. So the next time the ego whispers, don't let them win, remember this. You are not here to win arguments. You are here to win yourself. You are not here to prove your pride. You are here to protect your peace. And when you do that, when you walk away, when you refuse to enter the fire, you rise above the very battlefield ego tried to trap you in. You discover a new kind of strength, the strength of restraint, the strength of stillness, the strength of knowing you no longer need to fight to feel worthy. The truth is simple. Arguments feed the ego, but silence feeds the soul. Arguments drain you, but restraint protects you. Arguments leave you empty, but calm leaves you full. Do not let ego drag you into battles that do not matter. Do not let it trick you into spending your precious energy on voices that cannot hear you. Do not let its hunger devour the peace you have worked so hard to build. Because the one who must argue is not free. The one who must prove is not strong. But the one who can stay still, the one who can look chaos in the eye and choose silence, that is the one who is untouchable. Arguments do not end when the voices go quiet. They do not disappear when the room falls into silence. They linger. They echo. They replay like broken records in the mind. And this is their hidden cost. Not the words spoken, not the points made, but the weight they leave behind long after the conversation is over. Think about it. You argue with someone in the morning, and yet by night, the words still circle your thoughts. You lie down to rest, but instead of peace, you rehearse the same lines again and again. You think of what you should have said, what you could have said, how you might have won if only the words had come faster. But what have you really won? Sleep stolen, energy drained, peace shattered. This is the first hidden cost, time. Arguments steal hours, sometimes days, of your life. They keep you hooked to a moment that should have ended, but instead lingers like smoke in the lungs. The world moves on, but you remain stuck, tied to words that can no longer be undone. The second cost is emotional energy. Every argument takes something from you. It leaves you restless, anxious, unsettled. You walk away from the battlefield, but carry the wounds inside. Your chest feels heavy, your mind spins, your spirit aches. Even if you win, you feel weaker than before. Because arguments are not designed to heal, they are designed to drain. The third cost is relationships. How many friendships have broken not because of betrayal, but because of words spoken in anger? How many families carry silent walls built from arguments never truly resolved? How many lovers have drifted apart not because they stopped caring, but because they never stopped fighting? This is the tragedy of arguments. They often leave scars deeper than the issue that caused them. And then comes the most dangerous cost, the cost to yourself. Every time you argue, every time you let anger control your voice, you train yourself to believe that, Zeddy's, reaction is power. You teach yourself that noise equals strength. But in truth, each reaction is a surrender. Each moment of shouting is proof that someone else now controls you. Think of the body in argument. The heart races. The breath shortens. The hands tremble. the body believes it is at war. And in a way, it is. Not with the fists, but with words. But the impact is the same. Stress surges, blood pressure rises, health suffers. Your body cannot tell the difference between a real battlefield and a verbal one. Either way, it pays the price. Arguments tax your mind. They cloud your clarity, making you chase points instead of truth. They push you into cycles of overthinking, making you relive the conflict instead of releasing it. They consume your focus, leaving you unable to create, unable to dream, unable to move forward. The irony is this: most arguments are about things that do not even matter. What someone said, what someone thinks, who was right, who was wrong, yet the cost you pay is real. You spend your most precious resources, time, energy, health, peace, on battles that leave you empty. And here lies the question: why keep paying for something that never gives a return? Why invest your soul in arguments that only leave you poorer? The truth is, you cannot stop people from provoking you. You cannot control the words they throw, but you can control your response. You can choose whether to spend your energy or save it. You can decide whether to pick up the rope of fire or let it fall. Consider this: every time you refuse an argument, you save hours of your life. Every time you choose silence, you protect your heart from stress. Every time you walk away, you build stronger walls around your peace. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. This is survival. So ask yourself, what is worth more? Winning the noise of the moment or keeping your lifelong calm? What is worth more? Proving you are right, or protecting your health, your relationships, your joy? Arguments may look small on the outside, but inside they are thieves. They steal silently. They rob you of peace, of focus, of love. And unless you open your eyes to the cost, you will continue paying the price for battles that were never worth fighting. The lesson is clear. Not every voice deserves your answer. Not every insult deserves your energy. Not every provocation deserves your time. Some battles you win only by refusing to fight. And when you learn this, when you recognize the hidden cost and refuse to pay it again, you step into a new kind of freedom. A freedom where your peace is no longer for sale. A freedom where your time is guarded. A freedom where your energy is invested only in what truly matters. Because the greatest wealth is not in money, but in peace of mind. And the greatest loss is not in defeat, but in wasting your life on the arguments you can never win. There comes a moment in every battle where you must decide, do I fight for my pride or do I fight for my peace? Most people choose pride. They cannot stand to be insulted. They cannot endure being misunderstood. They cannot tolerate the sting of disrespect. And so they fight. They raise their voices. They sharpen their words. They give away their calm in exchange for a hollow victory. But what is pride, really? It is the mask we wear to protect the fragile parts of us. It is the armor we put on so others cannot see how deeply we were hurt. Pride shouts, "You cannot treat me this way." But beneath that shout is often a whisper, "I am afraid you will not see my worth." Peace, on the other hand, does not need to shout. Peace does not need to defend itself. Peace simply is. It is the quiet confidence of someone who knows that their value does not depend on anyone else's recognition. And yet, pride feels so tempting. Pride tells you that if you walk away, you are weak. Pride tells you that silence means surrender. Pride convinces you that winning an argument is winning respect. But pride is a liar. Pride is the voice that drags you into battles that steal your calm, your joy, your clarity. The truth is this: every time you choose pride over peace, you lose. Even if your words cut sharper, even if the other person falls silent. Even if, for a brief moment, you feel the thrill of winning. Because once the noise fades, once the adrenaline settles, you are left with emptiness. You are left with regret. You are left with the burden of knowing you gave away your energy for nothing. But when you choose peace over pride, you win something greater. You win freedom. You win clarity. You win strength. You walk away not with bruises on your soul, but with calm in your chest. Picture this. Two people stand in a storm. One shouts against the thunder, trying to outmatch the noise of the sky. The other stands still, calm, grounded, untouched by the chaos around them. Who appears stronger? Who walks away with dignity? Who truly wins? It is always the one who chooses peace. And here lies the challenge. Choosing peace requires more courage than choosing pride. It is easier to shout. It is easier to argue. It is easier to prove. But it takes strength to stay silent. It takes wisdom to walk away. It takes a deep kind of confidence to know you do not need to prove yourself in the first place. Let me ask you, what matters more in the end? The temporary satisfaction of being right, or the lasting treasure of inner calm? What matters more, their opinion of you or your opinion of yourself? Because the truth is, pride is always about them. Peace is always about you. Pride focuses on how others see you. Peace focuses on how you see yourself. Pride says, I will not let them win. Peace says, I no longer need to fight. Choosing peace does not mean you are passive. It does not mean you are weak. It does not mean you let others walk over you. No. Choosing peace means you are strong enough to know where your energy belongs. Choosing peace means you value your time, your mind, your spirit too much to waste them on arguments that do not matter. And over time, this choice transforms you. Slowly, you begin to notice that not every word deserves your reply. Not every challenge deserves your energy. Not every insult deserves your attention. You become selective. You become discerning. You stop reacting to everything, and in doing so, you become untouchable. The world may not understand. They may say you have changed. They may call you distant, arrogant, cold. But what they do not see is that you are not cold. You are calm. You are not arrogant. You are aware. You are not distant. You are protecting your peace like treasure. And in truth, peace is treasure. It is rarer than gold, more valuable than applause, more powerful than pride. It is the foundation on which joy is built. It is the shield that protects your soul. It is the air that keeps your spirit alive. Without it, no argument, no victory, no recognition is worth anything. So the next time you are pulled into battle, ask yourself, am I fighting for pride or am I fighting for peace? And remember, pride will fade. Pride will leave you empty. But peace will carry you through storms. Peace will keep you whole. Peace will make you stronger than any victory pride can offer. Choosing peace over pride is not surrender. It is salvation. It is strength. It is the quiet revolution that sets you free from battles you were never meant to fight. There is a dangerous sweetness in arguments, a fleeting taste of victory. You raise your voice, you corner your opponent, you deliver the final blow with the words sharp as knives, and for a moment you feel powerful. For a moment, you believe you have won. But pause long enough and you begin to see the truth. That victory was an illusion. It did not heal you. It did not free you. It only left you emptier than before. Arguments are built on this illusion. They trick the mind into believing that domination equals strength, that silencing another person equals wisdom, that forcing someone to back down equals growth. But true strength, true wisdom, true growth, they never come from defeating someone else. They come from mastering yourself. The illusion of victory is like drinking salt water. It feels like it quenches your thirst, but the more you drink, the thirstier you become. You win one argument, and the ego whispers, "Fight again, prove yourself again, show them again." It never ends, because the ego's hunger can never be satisfied. And here is the deeper tragedy. Arguments never truly change people. You can corner someone with your words. You can prove them wrong with evidence. You can shout until their silence feels like surrender. But silence does not always mean agreement. Often, it means exhaustion. Often, it means they are waiting for their chance to strike back. The argument ends, but the conflict continues underground, like fire smoldering beneath ashes. So tell me, what have you really won? Did you win their respect, or did you win their resentment? Did you win their understanding, or did you win their silence? Did you win peace, or did you win a heavier burden to carry? The illusion of victory blinds us to the true cost of conflict. We mistake the other person's silence for defeat, when in truth, both sides walk away wounded. One carries anger, the other carries emptiness, and no one walks away whole. Look at history. Nations have fought wars, flags have been raised, victories have been declared, and yet, beneath the banners of triumph, there are graves, there are scars, there are generations carrying trauma. Was that victory, or was it only destruction disguised as triumph? The same is true in our daily lives. You might win the argument with your spouse, but you lose intimacy. You might win against your friend, but you lose trust. You might win against your colleague, but you lose respect. On the surface, you stand tall, but beneath the surface, you are standing alone. That is the illusion of victory. It looks like gain, but it hides loss. And here lies the truth. You don't need to win arguments to live a victorious life. Real victory is not proving others wrong. Real victory is proving to yourself that you no longer need to fight to feel whole. Real victory is walking away with your dignity intact, your peace unshaken, your heart still light. Think of the tree in a storm. The wind rages, the branches bend, the thunder roars. But the tree does not argue with the wind. It does not shout back at the thunder. It simply stands, rooted, silent, enduring. And when the storm passes, the tree remains. That is true victory, not shouting louder than the storm, but surviving it with grace. So the next time you feel the thrill of winning an argument, look deeper. Ask yourself, did I truly win, or did I only trade my peace for a moment of pride? Ask yourself, did I build, or did I destroy? Did I rise, or did I sink? Because the real danger is this. Once you believe in the illusion of victory, you will chase it again and again. You will fight battles you never needed to fight. You will waste years trying to conquer others, when the only conquest worth pursuing was yourself. Victory is not in silencing others. Victory is in silencing the restless voice inside you that demands recognition at any cost. Victory is not in winning every argument. Victory is in knowing which arguments are not worth your time, your energy, your soul. The illusion fades. The applause dies. The pride dissolves. But peace remains. And peace is the only prize worth carrying home. So remember this. The next time you think you have won an argument, ask yourself if you also lost your calm, your respect, your joy. If you did, then you did not win at all. You were deceived by the sweetest of lies, the illusion of victory. We are taught from childhood that walking away means weakness, that if you turn your back, you are a coward, that if you remain silent, you are defeated. But wisdom teaches the opposite. Wisdom whispers, walking away is not surrender. It is strength. It is the highest form of self-respect. When you walk away, you are not saying, I cannot fight. You are saying, this fight is not worth me. You are not shrinking back. You are rising above. Because the truth is, it takes far more courage to walk away from noise than to dive into it. The world will tell you, stand your ground, prove your point. Don't let them win. But think carefully. Who really wins when two people throw fire at each other until both are burned? Is it victory if you leave the battlefield scarred, exhausted, and restless? Or is true victory found in leaving with your spirit unbroken, your calm untouched, your dignity intact? Walking away is not weakness. It is wisdom choosing peace over pride. It is maturity refusing to waste energy on what cannot be changed. It is clarity knowing that some storms are not meant to be fought, but outlasted. Think of the river. It does not stop to argue with the rocks. It flows around them. It bends, it curves, it continues its journey, and in time, the rocks themselves are shaped by its quiet persistence. That is the power of walking away. It keeps you moving forward while the other remains stuck. And let us be honest, walking away is hard. It hurts to be misunderstood. It stings to be disrespected. It burns to know you could fight back, but you choose not to. But that pain lasts only for a moment. The peace that follows lasts a lifetime. Because when you walk away, you protect your energy. You protect your time. You protect the most valuable treasure you have, your inner calm. And no one deserves access to that treasure without your permission. Some will call you weak for walking away. Let them. Some will say you are afraid. Let them. Some will say you are arrogant, distant, cold. Let them. Their words cannot define you. Their judgments cannot reduce you. Because deep down, you know the truth. You walked away not out of fear, but out of strength. You chose silence, not because you lacked words, but because you valued your peace more. There is a special kind of dignity in restraint. Anyone can argue. Anyone can shout. Anyone can let anger dictate their voice. But not everyone can stay calm. Not everyone can turn away without revenge. Not everyone can rise above the bait of conflict. That takes discipline. That takes mastery. That takes strength. Walking away does not mean you lost. It means you refuse to lose yourself. Walking away does not mean you gave up. It means you chose to grow up. Walking away does not mean you ran away. It means you saw the trap and refused to step inside. And this choice changes you. The more you practice it, the stronger you become. You begin to realize that not every voice deserves your reply. You begin to see that not every battle deserves your sword. You begin to understand that peace is not passive. Peace is power. Let me ask you, what is harder, to fight until you are drained, or to stand tall in silence while your calm remains untouched? What is stronger, to win an argument that leaves you bitter, or to walk away with your joy still whole? The answer is clear. Strength is not in conquering others. Strength is in conquering yourself. So the next time someone provokes you, remember, you do not owe them your energy. The next time someone disrespects you, remember, their words reveal them, not you. The next time someone tries to drag you into conflict, remember, your silence is not surrender. It is selection. You are choosing yourself. You are honoring your peace. And here lies the greatest truth. Walking away is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a new one. Because every time you refuse a battle, you save your energy for a higher purpose. You save your strength for dreams, for growth, for love, for healing. You save yourself for the life you were meant to live. The world may never clap for your silence. The crowd may never cheer when you walk away. But peace is not a performance. Strength is not always seen. Dignity is not always loud. Sometimes the greatest victories happen quietly, inside your soul, where no one else can see. And in those quiet victories, you discover something unshakable, that walking away was never weakness. It was always strength in its purest form. Silence is often misunderstood. The world mistakes it for weakness. They think silence means defeat, as if the one who says nothing has nothing to say. But silence is not emptiness. Silence is energy, concentrated, preserved, and powerful. When you argue, your energy scatters. Words spill into the air, emotions rise and fall, and your strength leaks out like water through broken hands. But when you stay silent, when you hold your peace, your energy gathers. It grows dense. It becomes like a mountain, still but unshakable. Think of the night sky. The stars do not shout, yet their presence is undeniable. They do not compete for attention, but they shine with a brilliance that silence makes possible. So it is with you. When you learn the energy of silence, you discover a power that noise can never give. Silence does not mean you ignore. It does not mean you are blind. It does not mean you are afraid. Silence means you are choosing where to spend your strength. Silence means you understand that not every word deserves a reply, not every challenge deserves an answer, not every insult deserves recognition. And here lies the secret. Silence is not passive. Silence is active. Silence is a shield, a filter, a strategy. It protects you from wasting energy on what cannot be changed. It filters out the noise so your inner voice can speak clearly. It gives you time to choose your battles wisely. But silence is not only dense, it is also creation. In silence, ideas are born. In silence, healing begins. In silence, strength grows roots deep into the soul. Think of the seed buried underground. No one sees its struggle. No one hears its growth. Yet in silence, it breaks open. In silence, it takes root. In silence, it prepares for the day it will rise. That is the energy of silence. It is unseen, but it is unstoppable. When you embrace silence, you shift the balance of power. In an argument, the one who shouts believes they are strong, but in truth, the one who remains silent holds the greater strength. Because silence cannot be defeated. You cannot twist silence. You cannot argue against silence. It stands as it is, calm and unbothered, while noise burns itself out. And silence changes you. It makes you observant. You begin to notice what others miss, the tension behind their words, the insecurity behind their anger, the fear behind their pride. While they fight to be heard, you see through them, because silence has given you clarity. Let me ask you, what is stronger, to win the noise of the moment or to preserve the energy of your soul? What lasts longer, the thrill of arguing or the peace that silence protects? The truth is, silence is not absence. Silence is presence, deeper, truer, steadier presence. It is you standing firm in your dignity, refusing to be dragged into storms that are not yours. It is you choosing not to let another person control your emotions. It is you realizing that your energy is sacred, and silence is how you guard it. Yes, some will misunderstand. They will call you cold. They will call you distant. They will say you have nothing to say, but they do not know that silence is full of awareness, full of self-respect, full of energy reserved for what truly matters. And here lies the paradox. The quieter you become, the more powerful you feel. The less you argue, the stronger your presence becomes. The more you hold your peace, the more people notice when you finally speak. Because silence gives weight to your words. Silence makes every sentence count. Noise may capture attention for a moment, but silence commands respect for a lifetime. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember, Your silence is not weakness. It is energy. It is strength disguised as stillness. It is wisdom wrapped in calm. And when you learn to master the energy of silence, you stop wasting yourself on arguments you can never win. You stop scattering your spirit into places where it does not belong. You stop living in reaction, and you start living in intention. Silence is not the absence of power. Silence is power under control. Silence is energy saved, energy directed, energy ready for what truly deserves it. And when you finally understand this, you will no longer fear silence. You will embrace it. You will protect it. You will live by it. Because in silence, you find not only peace, but the deepest strength you will ever know. From the moment we are young, the world whispers in our ears, "Prove yourself. Prove you are smart enough. Prove you are strong enough. Prove you are worthy of love, of respect, of belonging." And so we spend our lives running on this endless treadmill of proof. Every action becomes a statement. See me, believe me, validate me. But here is the truth no one tells you. The need to prove yourself is a trap. It is a battle with no end, a thirst with no quenching, a weight with no relief. Arguments are one of the sharpest edges of this trap. Every time you step into an argument to defend your worth, you are silently agreeing that your worth is in question. You are silently telling yourself that unless they agree, you are not enough. And so you fight, louder and louder, hoping to drown out your own doubt. But stop and ask, why should your value depend on their recognition? Why should your truth need their approval to remain true? Why should your peace hinge on whether or not someone finally says, "Yes, you are right"? Proving yourself is like chasing the horizon. No matter how fast you run, it always moves further away. You may win today's argument, but tomorrow there will be another. You may silence one critic, but a new one will appear. You may convince one person of your worth, but another will question it. And so the cycle repeats. The futility of proving yourself lies in this. You are fighting ghosts. You are fighting mirrors. You are fighting shadows of doubt that live within you, not outside of you. And no matter how many victories you collect, those shadows remain until you decide to stop fighting them and start accepting yourself. True strength is not found in proving. It is found in knowing. Knowing who you are, knowing your values, knowing your worth. And when you know these things deeply, you no longer feel the need to argue about them. You no longer feel the need to explain, to convince, to justify. You simply live them. Think of the sun. It does not rise each morning to prove it can shine. It does not argue with the darkness about whether light is stronger. It simply shines, and the darkness fades. That is the way of wisdom. To live so fully in your truth that it speaks louder than any argument ever could. But this path is not easy. It requires breaking free from the addiction of approval. It requires being misunderstood, sometimes even rejected, without letting it shake your core. It requires silence when your ego is screaming to defend itself. It requires patience when the world demands performance. Yet the reward is priceless. When you stop trying to prove yourself, you reclaim your energy. You stop scattering it across endless debates and start investing it in building the life you truly want. You stop wasting it on people who will never see your light, and you start nurturing it for those who already do. And here lies the paradox. The less you try to prove yourself, the more undeniable your presence becomes. When you stop seeking validation, people begin to feel your certainty. When you stop defending your worth, people begin to respect it. When you stop begging to be seen, you begin to shine naturally. Ask yourself, how much of your life has been spent explaining, defending, justifying? How much energy has been wasted trying to convince people who were committed to misunderstanding you from the beginning? And how would your life feel if you let all that go? You do not need to prove that you are enough. You do not need to prove that you matter. You do not need to prove that you deserve peace, love, and joy. These are not things given to you by others. These are truths that exist within you, waiting for you to embrace them. So the next time someone questions you, remember, you do not owe them your energy. The next time someone doubts you, remember, their doubt is not your burden. The next time someone challenges you, remember, you are not here to prove. You are here to live. The futility of proving yourself is this: even when you win, you lose. But when you refuse to play, when you choose instead to rest in your own worth, you have already won. And that is a victory no argument can ever take away. There comes a moment when you realize the weight you have been carrying is not from the battles you fought. It is from the battles you refuse to release. Every argument replayed in your mind, every insult you rehearsed answers for, every misunderstanding you tried to untangle. These are not memories, they are chains, and they have kept you bound far longer than the conflict itself ever did. Letting go is not easy. The human heart clings. It clings to words said in anger. It clings to the hope that one day they will finally understand. It clings to the desire for closure, for apology, for recognition. But here is the truth. Waiting for those things is waiting for freedom that will never come from outside. Freedom comes only when you release the need for them. Letting go is not weakness. It is the deepest form of strength. It is the courage to say, I will no longer let this pain rent space in my soul. It is the wisdom to understand that some knots are not meant to be untied. They are meant to be cut. It is the faith to believe that your peace matters more than your pride. When you let go, you are not saying, it didn't matter. You are saying, it mattered, but it will not control me anymore. You are not denying your pain. You are choosing not to be defined by it. You are not erasing your story. You are writing a new chapter. Think of the bird. It does not cling to the branch when it is time to fly. It trusts its wings, it trusts the sky, and it lets go. If it held on out of fear, it would never know the freedom of flight. So it is with you. Your wings cannot carry you if your hands are still gripping arguments that ended long ago. And here lies the beauty. The moment you let go, you discover lightness. The heaviness leaves your shoulders. The noise leaves your mind. The bitterness drains from your heart. And in that silence, in that spaciousness, peace enters. Clarity enters. Joy enters. Arguments are heavy. They weigh down the soul, but letting go is release. It is exhale. It is freedom. And freedom is not something anyone else can give you. It is a gift you give yourself. Letting go means no longer needing the last word. Letting go means no longer rehearsing conversations in your head. Letting go means no longer trying to prove, to defend, to explain. Letting go means choosing peace even when pride begs you to fight. And this is the paradox. The less you hold, the more you have. The more you release, the richer you become. Because when your hands are not clenched around battles that are already over, they are free to hold blessings that are yet to come. Ask yourself, what arguments are you still carrying? What conflicts live rent-free in your mind? What faces appear when you close your eyes, pulling you back into battles that ended long ago? And then ask, are they worth your energy still? Are they worth your peace? Are they worth the story you want your life to tell? Letting go is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the open door through which your future walks in. It is the soil where healing grows. It is the silence where transformation begins. Yes, people may still misunderstand you. Yes, some may never apologize. Yes, some may never see your truth. But their blindness does not diminish your light. Their silence does not erase your worth. Their refusal does not cage your freedom. You are free the moment you decide you are. You are free the moment you let go. And so as this journey closes, let me leave you with this. Stop wasting your sacred energy on arguments you can never win. Stop giving away your power to battles that drain you. Stop replaying stories that keep you small. Let go, release, rise. Because peace is not found in proving them wrong. Peace is not found in silencing their voices. Peace is not found in winning the argument. Peace is found in silence. Peace is found in release. Peace is found in letting go. Letting go is not losing. Letting go is winning the only victory that matters, the victory over yourself. And in that victory, you are untouchable. You are unshakable. You are free. So breathe deep, walk away, let it go. And watch how life changes when you finally choose peace over pride, freedom over fear, silence over noise. This is your revolution. This is your healing. This is your power. And it begins with the freedom of letting go.